Welcome to Inside Auto Podcast, where we feature everyone and anyone you'd want to talk to in and out of the automotive industry.
Ilana Shaptai here, host of Inside Auto Podcast, where we interview top dealers, GMs, marketers, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders in and out of the automotive industry. But before we introduce today's guest, this episode is sponsored by FullPath.com. FullPath is the automotive industry's leading customer data and experience platform, CDXP. FullPath enables dealers to turn their first-party data into lifelong customers by unifying siloed data sources and leveraging that data to create exceptional, hyper-personalized customer experiences. To learn more, visit FullPath.com. Today, we're welcoming Erwin to the podcast. Don, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, even better now. I have an entertainer for the podcast. Don has been entertaining me for years, basically in charge of all the digital marketing and client communications at Mtn View Automotive, but also sides as a comedian. So I'm excited for this episode. He's put his blood and sweat into this automotive group, and he's not planning on going to another one. He's actually planning on retiring in 3 years, 3 months, and 13 days. Did I get that accurate? Or is it 12 days?
12 days, because that was written yesterday. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay. Who's counting, though? Seriously. He started in the automotive business in late 2001, everything from the new car manager's desk to establishing a full BDC and now to running an entire digital marketing strategy. So that's amazing. I can't wait to get into that with you. He also has 8 grandkids from his 2 kids, 4 on each. I don't know how your kids did that, but kudos to them.
I think we know how they did it.
It's nice to get. Are they close to you?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, my daughter and her family live in Atlanta, and my wife gets to be down there every week, and then my son lives just north of us, about 30 minutes. So we get to be a part of their lives, kind of like I was with my grandkids. I'm with my grandparents. Yeah, we're amazing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, no question about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us how did you get into automotive?
Well, it was by a little bit of a fluke. I think I mentioned to you that my family business was in the carpet industry, which is close here in Chattanooga. And so my grandfather was a pioneer in the industry. My father joined his business. I joined when I was about 30 after getting 2 degrees in music, vocal performance and conducting and leadership, neither of which you can really use, like I told you, unless you love opera or become a rock star. And I didn't do either one of those. But my parents encouraged me to follow my dreams, follow my passions, and so those are the degrees that I got. But both my grandfather and my father were salesmen. They just were born as salesmen, and I kind of felt like I was too. So I followed in the path of that business. Was fortunate enough to kind of bring some innovations to the industry. We were designers and manufacturers and importers of machine parts. So I enjoyed doing that. The industry was on its downturn for carpet, for soft floor goods around 2000, 2001, and it all culminated in 2002. But fortunately, I got out right before that. I consulted for a company out of Germany for about a year. And then a good friend owned Mtn View, at that time, Mtn View Ford and Mtn View Nissan. And he and I were talking at lunch one day, and he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm going to take some time off." And he, just one thing led to another. He said, "Why don't you come and just try your hand at selling cars?" He said, "I think you'll like it. You know, it won't be a lifelong career for you, but you'll have fun doing it." So I did. And that was
it's a lifelong
almost 23 years ago now. And it's been a really fun journey for me. Just a different kind of selling, a different kind of managing employees than what I was used to in more of an account sales type atmosphere. But I fell in love with it and committed myself to it, and have had a blast for over 2 decades now, enjoying the carpet industry. I mean the car business.
And that's awesome. And when you were so you started actually selling cars.
Started as what I call a grown-ass man at 43 years old. I started on the sales floor, just trying my hand at sales, and just loved it. I mean, just loved every customer interaction, loved the fast-paced opportunity to build rapport with someone, whereas in the carpet business, you'd spend months building rapport with someone who was going to buy your parts and support your business. In the car business in an automotive retail, you had 45 seconds to a couple of minutes to really build rapport with a customer. So the challenge was there. I loved it. It was a lot of fun, and I had a blast with all my customers. And then began to kind of work my way into some management learning areas. And so I've done a lot in the dealership over the 20 plus years. Just have had a blast doing it and learning and growing.
And do you find that the sales experience you had at the dealership influences the way you actually structure the marketing strategy?
Absolutely. I think a lot of times, and this happens with vendors that I work with as well. You all at Full Path and I have had a long 2 or 3 year relationship now. And one of my challenges to you all is get some people involved in the business who understand automotive retail, who really truly have sold cars, who've been on the floor, who've managed salespeople, who understand the sales process, and that helps me. It would help you, and any advice I give to vendors, I always lean on that experience of how would I design this? What is it that I want this product to do? How do I want our communication to go out from our BDC or our salespeople when it comes to internet leads and sales calls that are coming into the dealership? All of that goes back to the experience that I learned as a salesman, and then as an internet manager and a new car desk manager, et cetera.
And then I know so much has happened in the industry since you started. Specifically, I mean, it's probably a completely different industry than when you started, but specifically the past 3-4 years, right?
Yeah.
COVID, inventory shortages. What's something that you implemented in your digital marketing strategy in the past few years that you feel like was a total game changer, and or something that you just can't live without, considering the world we live in today?
Well, the products that we're using now from the vendors who we subscribe to are things that we can't live without. We have a specific digital marketing budget for each of the stores that I work for. We live within that budget. As a matter of fact, because of COVID, it shrunk. The digital portion of it, the paid search portion of it shrunk. So I tell vendors on a regular basis, you guys at Full Path, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, we're using some Edmunds products now. Anybody that we speak with, we say, if you want us to, if you feel like we should change and alter our approach, then we've got to do it within this budget. So what is it that we can live without that would pay for this that you tell me that I can't live without? And so we've seen our website traffic, of course, go through the roof. That has allowed us to reduce our what I call a traditional paid search budget, our traditional SEM. We've been able to reduce that, but take those funds and put them into some untraditional paid search, display advertising. With you guys, with Full Path, we took some digital marketing spend and moved it away from paid search and turned it into Nurture, which of course is your product that works behind the scenes, kind of an equity mining type product that stays in touch with our customers, presents them offers, engages them. And again, the numbers that I see, that's another good thing that Full Path brings to the table, and we challenge all of our vendors to do this. If we're going to use your product, give us good tracking. We want to be able to know that truly it's actually working and working well. And I'm looking right now. I've gone away from looking at you. I've gone to look at my Full Path dashboard, and just this month to date, at my Hyundai store, where we are using you for our digital advertising, 347 leads at our Hyundai store. Our last call, VIN acceleration VDP views, 3,419. The Connect widget has brought us 98 leads just since the beginning of this month. And then when you roll it out group wide, auto group wide, I mean, the numbers are they're mind blowing. They're absolutely mind boggling. How many people are coming to our websites? How many opportunities we have to engage with those people. And so it's our challenge as managers, as owners, as general managers, it's our challenge to make sure that our people are trained, that they're saying the things that we want them to say, that they're giving the message to our customer, and they're actually ultimately reaching our customer, making contact with our customers so that we have the opportunity to sell them.
That's a really important point. It's not just about the technology that you're implementing, which of course I think is an extremely big part of it. It's can you actually train your people, invest in your people, make sure that they can leverage the technologies and the innovation that you're working so hard to implement at the dealership? And so I'm happy to hear that, that's part of the process.
It's a challenge. You know, one of the questions you asked me to prepare for was, what are the challenges for dealerships today?
That was what I was going to ask you next. What's the biggest challenge you're working on right now?
And it is employees. It's employee tenure, hanging on to those that are good, that are talented, that want to learn, that want to grow. I think all of us, anybody listening to this podcast, will agree with me. Some sales plans, sales payment plans stayed the same through COVID. That was probably a mistake on our part, because we had salespeople who were making more money than they ever dreamed of. And now things are changing a little bit. So attitudes are changing, motivation is changing, the drive to hang in there and really make it work, that's changing as well. But it is challenging to get salespeople to understand. We've just signed on to an urban science product called Sales Alert, which is showing us the sales that we're missing. It literally is showing us who is buying elsewhere, those that are coming through our service department, leads that we have opportunity, even showroom visits that come and visit us, and certainly sales calls. And how we wish it was a Wayback Machine, how we could go back and change that outcome and ultimately sell those people. What it is showing us, and what is giving the opportunity for us to do, is realize where the opportunities are. And when we spot check some of these people who bought elsewhere, we're seeing failures in the process, failures in the protocol that we've created and established and set as best practice. And so that gives us an opportunity then to one-on-one train with salespeople, BDC agents, even managers, to get more involved in those deals and try to make things happen before somebody goes elsewhere. The other thing it's telling us is, so many people are buying cars. I think sometimes we fool ourselves to say, hey, we're getting everything we can get. And ultimately now what this is showing us is there are tons of people coming through our service department that are indeed maybe not even in the market to buy something, but given the opportunity, would certainly consider it.
I mean, that's an interesting product. Does it hook into your CRM so that it knows exactly which person it should alert you on?
Yes. So Sales Alert absolutely dials into all of our data through DMS and through our CRM. We use Vin Solutions, which I believe is the best in the business. They tell us that we're a Power 5 dealer group that uses this product. Just like we've done with you all, we've asked them and begged them, and they've been responsive to make some changes. So yes, the data hookup between our vendors, full path included, Sales Alert included, that's incredibly important for us so that everything can sync together and we don't step on ourselves or we don't miss anything.
Great. Okay, so we learned a little bit about you. We learned about your processes at the dealership. I'd love now to learn a little bit about what you think is going to happen in automotive. What are your predictions for the next 12 months, whether that's marketing related or EV related? I just love to pick your brain a little bit on what you think we're going to see.
You know, we're in the deep Mid-South in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so EV related is one of those frustrating topics because we don't see that this particular area is going to be saturated with EVs. We're close enough to Atlanta. Probably Atlanta will be and probably already is. There is a Tesla brick and mortar that's being built here in Chattanooga as well, which I think ultimately that's a telltale sign that at least Tesla believes that EV in Chattanooga is going to be important. So that's one of those things that we're still on the fence of. Certainly we are fully invested as one of my stores is a Ford store, a Ford Lincoln store, and so we are committed to building that EV platform at that particular store. You know, General Motors, one of my stores is a Chevy store. General Motors is kind of leading the way and giving us some very hard dates as to when they expect to have an EV model or EV option in every single model. So we know that's coming.
I can't imagine a world where we'll have an EV model for every single model. I mean,
I don't know how it's going to happen. And again, I'm not that smart or a scientist to understand and know what's coming down the pike. But in Chattanooga, a lithium processing factory is being built right now. It's going to be one of the largest in the Southeast. So again, with Volkswagen plant here where their EV batteries are going to be made right here in Chattanooga, we feel like this ultimately might be an important hub for EV. But as far as the general public, all buying into, let's go away from internal combustion engines and let's go fully EV in this town. I just don't see it happening. So that's one of the challenges that certainly is on the forefront of our thinking, things that we discuss on a regular basis. Not only with our Ford reps, our General Motors reps, our Hyundai store is really doing well with EV right now. As a matter of fact, I think we've got 25 or 30 Ionic 5s on the ground. We're selling 2-3 of those a week. So that particular product.
My car. That's my car.
It is. Did you drive an Ionic?
Yeah.
An EV? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Great car.
They have done their homework. There's no question about it. They have built a world-class product at an affordable, everyday worker price, basically. Yep. I mean, it really is a good price. They've got good battery life. Of course, they've got Kevin Bacon as the spokesperson, and who can argue with him? So I mean, you mentioned EV, and that's certainly something that we wrestle with. The other challenge is we haven't talked about the pink elephant in the room. I'm wearing a pink shirt, but I'm not the pink elephant. Ultimately, ChatGPT is rapidly approaching, and I'll tell you a kind of a little funny story. I was challenged by a couple of our owners to investigate and really kind of see what's going on. So last Friday, I was driving to lunch, and I passed a barbecue store named Mike's, and I thought, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write the first chapter in my next novel, Murder at Mike's Steakhouse. And so I literally started that chapter, and over the course of the weekend, and it's on Facebook, and I've had a great time with some of my friends, we wrote 8 chapters. We wrote 8 chapters in Murder at Mike's Steakhouse, and even finished with an epilogue. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's absolutely the most fascinating.
I would read that.
It's the most fascinating thing. The murder took place after hours while the cleaning crew was there. I swear, I'm not even joking. After hours while the cleaning crew was there, Chat created the character Maria, which was the supervisor of the cleaning crew. And like I said, I began to involve friends of mine, lifelong friends in the story. Each of them kind of have a chapter, and it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I think we're going to use it more in our descriptions, our marketing and merchandising descriptions among our vehicles.
Totally.
Got 2 managers right now that are at dealer school ongoing, and they're gonna graduate from dealer school in August. That's one of the big topics there, is how ChatGPT is going to be involved in the marketing strategies and the actual physical writing of ads and merchandising parts of our VDPs. Like I said, my first dive into it, and I had an absolute blast. I really had a blast.
That's awesome. I mean, if you're willing to share it, I'll read a bit of Murder at Mike's. It sounds really good. Co-authored with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think generative AI in general, ChatGPT and others will totally take over the industry, not just in the customer-facing way, but also within the business applications of the actual business behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just it's endless possibilities.
And then
in like a day, so
it took a weekend. So it was Friday evening and Saturday, and just like I said, you can guide it to where you want it to go. You don't just have to say just write a book. But basically, as I told her or it to write each chapter, I would give some instructions on really what I wanted that chapter to say and who I wanted to be in it and that sort of thing. And it just took it and ran with it.
That's awesome.
I think the last thing that we're really going to be challenged with is data and becoming data focused. That's, again, one of the things that NADA Dealer School is talking about, becoming not Amazon necessarily, but becoming so much more in tune with the data that can be provided to us. We're using a product called Clarivoy, which gives sales attributions and follows a customer's journey over 90 days. I mean, we've made so many changes in our third-party products again, challenging those performance managers in each of those situations, challenging them to come to the table to stay within our budget, but make a more viable package to reach more customers, drive more traffic, that sort of thing. So we're able to see through Clairvoy sales attributions through Auto Trader, through Car Gurus. Car Gurus is without question. I mean, they're just killing it. They're absolutely just nailing it. Edmunds is, that was one of the reasons that Edmunds came to the table for us, because we began seeing sales attributed to customers who spent time on Edmunds that we didn't pay for a subscription to Edmunds. And so we began to discuss with them a couple of their new display products that will, again, track and follow a customer through their journey. And we've seen those numbers just skyrocket. And so the report comes out about the 12th or the 13th of each following month. And quite frankly, we all are kind of sitting around like it's almost Christmas morning, waiting on that data to land to us so we can see exactly who performed the best in the paid subscriptions that we have.
I wish every dealer would actually look at their data and make decisions based off of their data. I'm so happy to hear that that's something that's actually driving your strategy.
And I think some dealers are maybe afraid to, frankly. I think
you're going to make decisions off your gut. Much easier.
I know,
Yeah.
but I think two challenges: having someone who really has grown up in the car business and understands the importance of data, has actually sold a car, who actually has managed a deal, those sort of things, and then not being afraid of it. Because just like this sales alert product, I mean, who wants to see that over the course of 90 days, we could have lost 155 sales through our service department? Nobody wants to see that. But if you want to improve, you've got to look at historical data and then make future judgments and future decisions off of what the past has shown you.
100%. Well, thank you so much. This was an awesome podcast. I'm so excited to have you on here.
My first, by the way.
Not your last. Not your last. Next time we'll have you crack some jokes. You can share some stories about, how you're secretly Brad Pitt and how you use that as your alternate ego, which we'll talk about on the next one. But seriously, Thank you so much, Don, for joining. And for those listening, thank you. And please tune in if you like this episode, InsideAutoPodcast.com. Thank you again, Don.
All right. Had a blast. All right. See y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Inside Auto Podcast. Check out our other episodes with top entrepreneurs and industry leaders.